Good evening. This is Golf 7 Echo Papa Echo, operator known as Dave, and I'm acting chair for this evening's Thursday night net on GB3IW. Before we get started, I should say that the net is open to anybody licensed to use a 70cm band, and obviously has access to GB3IW, which can be via good old-fashioned RF through the main box situated on the Isle of Wight. It also has a linked sister repeater, M0RQD, which is based in Sandown on the Isle of Wight. The repeater is also accessible via Echolink and the Allstar network. As I said, it's open to anybody licensed to use a 70cm band, and it's a directed net, so all contact via this station, please. It'll last about approximately an hour. So we'll be on there for about an hour, but if there's anybody out there that needs to use the repeater, please call in and let us know. Okay, without further ado, I shall drop the PTT and see who's out there wishing to join. This is G7EPE standing by.
Good evening, Dave.
2E0WGK. Bill, down there in Gosport. Coming through very nicely, Bill. Thank you very much for being the first one calling in this evening. Right, okay, anybody else out there wishing to join G7EPE, standing by.
2E0OGR.
2E0OGR. Martin, let's just get you in the log, mate. Number 2, thank you very much for calling in, and another good signal into the box. Anybody else out there wishing to join G7EPE, standing by.
Yeah, 4MCG, Bill in Corona.
KF4MCG, Bill. Got you there via the All-Star Network, and again, very happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you very much for taking time out of your midday to join us. Okay, anybody else out there wishing to join? This is G7EPE Thursday Night Net, standing by.
Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Delta Yankee.
Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Delta Yankee. Graham, down there in France. Number 4 in my log, thank you very much for calling in. Anybody else out there wishing to join the Thursday Night Net on GB3IW? This is G7EPE, standing by.
Golf 5, Kilo Uniform Echo. Good evening, Dave. Joining via Echolink because the All-Star link has fallen over. Yeah, back to you.
G5 KUE, G7EPE. Okay, Ian, got you there. Number 5 in my log. Sorry to hear the All-Star Network's fallen over. Your node there. Sounds like a bit of a wiggle of everything and a reboot required. So maybe you won't be on Echolink for the whole hour. But coming through very nicely anyway via your phone. Okay, anybody else out there wishing to join? This is G7EPE, standing by. Okay, nothing heard. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a quiet one tonight then. That's not a problem. Maybe we'll pick up a few stragglers as we go around for the second round. But sounds like we're going to get a few rounds in, gentlemen, so that's all good news. Okay, so as ever with the Thursday Night Net, let's just go through the list top to bottom, 1 to 5, and see if anybody's, or basically see how everybody is, and if anybody's got anything they want to share, or any topics they need a helping hand with. So with that, let's go back to Bill. Good to have you on, Bill. Trust you well, mate. 2E0WGK G7EPE.
front. I did the C4FM net on Sunday. That went well. That was a nice net. And haven't been on the radio apart from that. Work is going strong, and I'm looking at my diary now, and as of today, I've either got 14 days or 10 days, depending on how much bits of extra leave I can tack on, which is still to be worked out. But there you go. Anyway, nothing much to add on the radio front, but really nice to hear everybody that's on the net tonight. Back to you, Dave. G7EPE
2E0WGK
2E0 WGK.
G7EPE returning. Well, I'm glad to hear that you are feeling a bit better there, Bill. And yeah, no worries about not managing to make the net last week due to the cough and cold. But you're not sounding too bad now, so hopefully it's you've got over that now. And okay on not being too radioactive, other than the C4FM net. So all good stuff. And gosh, is it only those? You're down to almost single-digit days now. Almost, not quite, but almost. That seems to have come around extremely quickly. Your retirement, mate. So I bet you can't wait. So all good stuff. And of course, you'll have more time to play radios, do photography, do your blog, and maybe the long-awaited vlogging, perhaps. I don't know, but good to have you on, mate. And as I say, good signal win from Gosport. Okay, Martin, round to you. 2E0 OGR G7 EP in the group.
G7 EP 2E0 OGR. Well, I've already reached retirement age, so I could be off now if I wanted to, but I'm going to carry on until it suits us, which is probably going to be about between 3 and 6 months from now. Well, congratulations, Bill, on sorry, I've just had an ice cream delivered by my dear lovely wife, but there we go. Yes, other than that, I'm going to have a bachelor weekend, so anybody fancies coming around, let us know. Because the wife's away, going to visit the daughter. Back to you, Graham, for a bit. G7EPE
2E0 OGR G7EPE. And watch your fingers with that ice cream, Martin. I can see you on the Zoom call. We don't want you losing any digits. You need them for the PTT and holding the microphone. So just to note, there was a bit of a buzz with your transmitted audio for some reason. It was okay, but there was a bit of a buzz, just to let you know. Yeah, and okay on the station manager. I know you said she's disappearing down the West Country to help look after your daughter who's not feeling too well. So wish her well and a speedy recovery as well. And okay on the bachelor weekend. So you'll be getting some in the good old days some beer in and some videos. So there you go. Right, before I get myself into trouble, I'd like to say a very good evening to Adrian, M0NOD, who's put a shout out on the Facebook Live. I don't think I mentioned that we run a Facebook Live broadcast here from EPE Towers. It's a Thanksgiving special this evening. And yeah, if you want to have a look at what goes on or not goes on in EPE Towers, and probably the back of my head as well in the video, you'll make sense of that if you have a look. But look us up on GB3IW Isle of Wight Repeater Facebook page. Okay, thanks Martin. Let's go round to Bill, mentioning Thanksgiving. Thanks for taking the time out, Bill. I'm sure it's you've got some football matches to watch, and I think you mentioned a dog show as well, so that sounds interesting. KF4MCG G7EPE.
G7EPE KF4MCG. Well, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. First, I want to mention, Martin, don't get he's getting the knobs and buttons all sticky up there in the shack again, eating in the shack. Oh, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. It's a beautiful 27 degrees centigrade here in Southern California. Bright, sunny day. Wonderful day here.
And the best part, I'm thankful for all my friends over there on the island and across the pond, because it keeps me out of the station manager's clutches. Being retired, she's got plenty of things for me to do. So I get a nice break for this. Yesterday's Thanksgiving, so the station manager is in the kitchen whipping up a delicious afternoon meal. In the meantime, we're watching the parade, and we've got a football game on between Green Bay and Detroit, and just generally kicking back today. So back over to you, Dave. G7EPEKF4MCG.
KF4MCG, G7EPE. We're glad you're having a good day there, Bill. Sounds very relaxed, and 27 degrees sounds absolutely perfect. My ideal temperature, that is. But having said that, we've actually got a very mild couple of days coming this way. Wednesday morning, I woke up and looked at the temperature, and it was -1. This morning, it was 12 degrees. So, an 11-degree difference in 24 hours. And it's been extremely mild today for the time of year in this part of the country. Anyway, it's 12.4 degrees now, and it's looking like it's going to stay pretty much above 10 degrees through the night. But we have got some rain to accompany that. We've had not a huge amount, but 2.1 millimetres of rain here at EP Towers this evening so far. So and it's light winds. It's not too bad. So damp, but not cold, which is pleasant. Right, okay, all good stuff. Thank you very much, Bill. Let's pop round to Graham. Is it Happy Ami Day? I don't know. Let's find out. Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Delta Yankee, Golf 7, Echo Papa Echo.
Golf 7, Echo Papa Echo, Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Delta Yankee. Yes, it is Happy Ami Day. Quite an amusing delivery. It was sub-zero and foggy, and I had so much trouble finding my place. Eventually I ended up walking out onto the main road, waiting for him. I sent him about 3 different directions through the village. He went one way and overshot, then another, and then another, and it took him 20. He'd been ringing me from 9:30, and it took him till 5 to 10 to get 2 kilometres out of the village. But the car's all right. It's worked all right. I've taken it down into the village itself, and behaved itself. And I'm sure we can discuss it in a bit more detail. I got it up to 50 kilometres an hour on the hill, going down. Coming back up, it won't do more than 25. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for the moment. We'll talk about other things. G7EPE, this is F4WDY.
Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Delta Yankee, Golf 7, Echo Papa Echo, 39net, GB3OW. Yep, fantastic news, Graham. I'm glad it's finally arrived, even if it was a bit of a chore for the poor old delivery driver. And sounds like you've been out in it, so good news. At least you've got your own set of wheels, albeit a little bit limited, but at least you can get from A to B locally, which is until the French bureaucracy sorts out your driving licence. That's fantastic news. So good for you. I think I reckon you'll fall in love with it and keep it as a little thing to buzz around in, even when you get your full licence and you're able to drive your large car around. But okay, right. I should say a very good evening to John, who's listening. John from the Isle of Wight. Can't remember your call sign, John, off the top of my head, but he's out on sea trials at the moment. So best of luck with that, and hope it all goes well, John. So thank you very much for shouting in on the Facebook Live. Okay, with that, let's go round to Ian. Has he managed to reboot his All-Star? Although I can't see him on the Zoom. I wonder if he's just wandering around with his phone and going to come back on Echolink. So let's find out anyway. G5 KUE, G7 EPE in the group.
G7 EPE from G5 KUE returning on Thursday night now. Thanks very much for calling me and Dave. And we have got the All-Star link up and booted again. But I think there's some loose connection because it happened again. If I just pull the mic house, which is hardwired with power over internet connections rather than Wi-Fi. Did do a little bit of FT8 and got Montserrat and the Central African Republic to the expedition station, so that was nice. But you know, FT8 is a little bit easier than trying to break a pile up, so I'll still take the accolade though. Right, let's go around for the first overs and see if there's a subject there for tonight, Dave. So thank you very much. G7EP from G5KUE.
G5KUE, G7EP. Yeah, well, the Allstar node is definitely working again now they're in. It's sounding pretty good, so excellent stuff. Yeah, maybe you have got a bit of a dodgy connection there, so probably not too much of a problem to sort that out. Okay, on the FT8 station contacts, Montserrat's good. So yeah, I don't blame you. Just take it if it's there and you've you know, got the acknowledgement. So. Yeah, and nice to hear somebody's out there playing a bit of radio. Just looking at my ham clock display now, and it looks like the bands are absolutely, I say all the bands, certainly 6, 10, 20 and 40 are absolutely dead. There's a bit of 40 into Europe, and a couple of contacts, and I'm guessing they're probably FT8, into... yeah, the very eastern seaboard of the top end, sort of Newfoundland of the States. But yeah, it's looking very quiet on HF at the moment. Not quite sure why. I'm not seeing any notification. We did have some auroral alerts earlier in the day. I see the planetary KP is 3.7, so not particularly high. But something's knocking it for 6 at the moment on HF, so... yeah, don't worry about playing around with HF, gentlemen. Come and join the Thursday night net. Right, okay. Let's see if there's anybody else out there wishing to join us. This is G7 EPE standing by.
G8 NHG, Golf 8 November, Hotel Golf.
G8 NHG. Sorry, Roger. Got a bit of a frog in my throat. Let me just get you in the log and stand by. Let me just see if there's anybody else out there. If not, we will come back to you so you can grab an over. Anybody else out there wishing to join the Thursday night net on GB3IW? This is G7 EPE standing by.
G4ANW. Good evening, Dave.
G4ANW. Terry, good to hear you out there, mate. Very nice audio into the box. You are for reference number 7 in my log. Okay, stand by. Anybody else out there wishing to join? This is G7 EPE standing by. Okie doke, nothing heard. So let's go back to Roger. And just the usual first round, Roger, just what you've been up to, any topics of interest, and anything you need any assistance with from the group. So round to you, G8 NHG, G7 EPE.
Yeah, evening, fellas, and good afternoon to, and happy Thanksgiving to our colleague out there in sunny California. Yeah, what have we been doing? Well, not much really, radio-wise. What I've done today is I had lunch with some old school friends. There's 5 of us get together about 2 or 3 times a year. We meet in Guildford, and very nice. Just have a bit of lunch, a bit of a natter, a bit of a reminisce, a bit of a grumbling about health, that kind of stuff, state of the nation. But nevertheless, it was very nice to do that again. So that's been my highlight of my week, really, I suppose. Looking forward to it's club night tomorrow, and it's the club Christmas lunch on Saturday. So that's the next highlight that's coming on. G8 NHG, back to G7 EPE.
G8 NHG, G7 EPE returning the group. Okay, Roger. Oh, it's lovely that you keep in touch with some old school friends. Do you know, I don't... there was one school friend that I used to keep in touch with, bump into regularly locally. but he seems to have gone to ground. I haven't seen him for probably 6-8 months now. But most of my school friends I don't keep in touch with. So hats off for you for doing that. And yeah, I'm sure you had a great time. I think the moaning about health and stuff like that is just the particular age we all get to. It becomes more and more of a topic, doesn't it? But great stuff, fantastic, and I'm glad you had a good time, mate. Okay, and obviously thank you very much for taking the time out to join us this evening. I see Bill out there in California is doing some paper play. I'm a bit worried. He's cutting stuff up. I'm hoping they're school scissors. Oh, he's printed off some QSL cards by the look of it, and he's cutting them out to stick in his album. So yeah, you need a responsible adult for those using those scissors there, Bill. They look very sharp. Right, okay, that's enough waffle from me. Let's go around to Terry and see what you've been up to. G4ANW G7EPE in the group.
G7EPE and the group from G4ANW. Yeah, okay, it's Dave. Good evening to you. Good evening to everyone on the net this evening. And yeah, a bit rubbish weather today, it must be said. But I've been indoors all day running aeronautical radio exams, so haven't seen too much of the weather. Luckily, apart from that, had some success yesterday and a few days before with the old 891 and ATAS into various parts of Europe on 40 metres and on 18 megs. So it's certainly proving to be a viable antenna now there, Dave. So that's all good news. But no, apart from that, just been listening around really, and doing one or two things like clearing millions of leaves off of the garden. So there we are. Anyway, back to you there, Dave. G7EP in the group, G4ANW.
G4ANW. G7EPE returning Thursday night net GB3IW. And all copied, Terry. Well, I'm absolutely fantastically glad that you're getting some use out of that ATAS now. I was kind of worried that when you weren't getting money, you weren't able to tune it successfully on the car, that you were probably going to say, that's it, I'm just going to move it on. And I think that happens a lot, because you do see ATASes popping up fairly regularly from time to time, don't you, on the second-hand market. And I'm sure it's because the owners don't spend the time to just try and get the thing to work properly, you know. But I'm glad it's working for you now. And yeah, very nice, compact HF solution for home, I think, really. So good stuff. And yes, you're right, miserable weather. It was a horrible greasy drive-in, which annoyed me a little bit because I did spend some time cleaning the car at the weekend, but now it looks like I hadn't touched it. And obviously it was a very similar journey home, but it has actually started to rain a little bit here now, but probably not enough to wash off all the muck and the road grime that's adhered itself to the vehicle now. But never mind. Right, okay. Let me just put one more call out, and then we'll start with the second round. Actually, we haven't done bad. I've got just 8:24 here at EPTAS, so that's not a bad round for the first thing. But if there is anybody else out there wishing to join, this is G7EPE standing by for your call.
Net control, please recognise. Net control, please recognise. Mike 9, Tango, Golf Echo. Mike 9er, Tango, Golf Echo. Back to net control.
Mike 9 TGE? No, surely not. Hello, Toby. How you doing? We have got you. You're 5x5 to me anyway. On the box, sounding very nice. Do you want to take a quick over there, Toby? Go ahead.
A very good evening to the rest of you on the net, and a very good evening to you, Mr. EPE. Hope all is well your end. Yes, indeed, I have made the jump to Wight 9 at Tango Golf Echo. Good old, those wonderful super dialings that Ofcom have let me have TGE at the end of the call. Oh, yes, indeed. Very good indeed. Listen, I'm gonna duck out of this one. I just wanted to make sure that the 25 watts through my little antenna here is making it through the scaffold over here. We're having our windows done at the flat here. You've been up to my flat anyway, so you know exactly what the situation is. So yeah, we've had our windows done. So we've got a whole pile of Faraday cage sort of set up here. So how the hell I'm getting out, I do not know. But hey ho, yes, Wight 9 Tango Golf Echo is getting out all over the place. So I'll hand it back to you. Back to you there, Dave. Net control for the Thursday night net. Wight 9 Tango Golf Echo.
Mike 9 Tango Golf Echo, Golf 7 Echo Papa Echo. A lot of echoes going on in there, Toby, but yeah, great to have you on. Sounding very good, actually. Nice audio into the box, so you are making it very nicely. There's a teeny tiny little bit of path noise, but not really noticeable, if I'm being super critical. And yeah, I don't know. You need to get on and load that scaffold up, mate. Get the tuner on the end of that scaffold and see if you can load it up. You might have a fantastic HF antenna there. You don't know. But good to hear you. Glad you're well, mate, and thank you very much for calling in. Really do appreciate it. Right, I'm just going to put one more call out just to make sure there isn't anybody else out there, and then we'll start the second round. This is G7 Echo Papa Echo, waiting for that call. Okay, nothing heard, so that's okay. That's not a problem. So I've got, I think Toby said that was his one and only. So basically there's 8 of us, including myself. So a very nice number for the net, and we've got at least about another half an hour, 30 minutes to go. Fantastic. So with Graham's plight, and for those who don't know, Graham over there in France has to have his licence updated, a French licence, I believe. So they've taken his UK licence and they're converting it over, but the French system is very slow, so it basically means he can't drive his car until he gets his licence returned. So in the meantime, he's had to purchase a Citroen Ami. Other EVs are available. The reason he's got the Ami is because you can drive it without a licence in France. I think you've only got to be 14 actually. So there you go. You're feeling young at heart, Graham. Getting that Ami, but it does allow him to be mobile. So that got me thinking, what would I do in the same position if I didn't have the ability to drive my car because my licence was not available? What would I do? And do you know what? I haven't got a darn clue, because getting to work, I could do it by train, but it would take an awful long time and it'd be very painful. So yeah, and cycling would be it's a 45 mile road trip, so I wouldn't be getting on a push bike anytime soon. So how would you get around the problem if you had to do without your licence for a few months and had to obviously still continue going to work, doing the shopping, everything else? So there you go. I'm looking for some interesting and innovative ways around that one. So let's go to Bill. Well, you haven't said that, Bill. You're obviously retiring very, very shortly, so you probably just sit at home, and you do like a good walk. So let's see. 2E0 WGK G7 EPE.
G7 EPE 2E0 WGK. Before I do that, Dave, can I ask a favour of Roger, G8NHG? Roger, did you get anything from me about coming to the Christmas lunch on Saturday? I had it really had it in my mind that I had sent you a response, but I've just been looking for it now and I can't find it. And I've got this horrible feeling that I may have been distracted and didn't actually send it to you, because I'm sure that I had my menu options all lined up, ready to go. Did I actually click the send button? And if you could check and let me know, I'd be really, really grateful. Right, okay, Dave, your question. Next, happy Thanksgiving, Bill. Lovely to hear that you've got a really nice day lined up. Excuse me.
2E0WGK G7 EPE returning Thursday night net GB3IW. Yep, all copied, Bill. Yeah, yeah, you are well served where you are. I know you're fairly well centralised there in Gosport, aren't you? So yeah, that's great. And we'll let Roger confirm or not confirm the situation with the Christmas lunch there. Unfortunately, I was already predisposed on the 29th, so I couldn't make it. And unfortunately, it doesn't mean that Martin and Kevin couldn't make it, but I think Martin was suffering at the time with his shoulder very badly, so we decided we wouldn't make it this year, which is a shame, but these things happen, and it's the first time for probably about 3 or 4 years, I think, that we haven't popped over and enjoyed a Christmas lunch with the club on the Isle of Wight. And it was additionally excellent last year, I have to say. So enjoy yourself, and hopefully Roger has got your booking. If not, they can squeeze you in. Right, that got me thinking. I was going to say I could train it, but it would be very difficult. But for those who know where I work right at the top end of the Portsmouth Harbour, actually literally a stone's throw from the water's edge. So push comes to shove, I suppose I could buy a boat or a jet ski. It's a bit of a traipse from Christchurch through to Portsmouth, but I wouldn't have to have a licence, would I? So yeah, I could do that perhaps. I could cycle down to my boat or my jet ski, and then obviously I'd have to wear a wetsuit, which probably wouldn't be too fitting, and blast along the coast there. So yeah, that might be the quickest route, to be fair. Anyway. Enough waffle from me. Let's see how Martin would get around. 2E0 OGR G7 EPE.
G7 EPE. Well, when I was younger, I was lucky enough to go to a hovercraft race, and they're all sort of one-man hovercrafts, and these things were belting about everywhere. And I always fancied one of them things, because I thought, well, once you've got one of them, you can go over anything. It just gets you there. And I was amazed to see that on the north coast of Devon, there's a big bay up there, a huge bay, goes out for miles, and they often get people trapped out there. It's a bit like Morecambe Beach, it's so huge. And so the RNLI there have got a hovercraft. So I thought that would be my thing. I could build one of those, have a little one of those, just jump on that, and off I go. But might be a bit interesting on the roads. But you can always stick wheels on it and see how it goes. That's what I would do. I've often fancied buying a canal boat and retiring to that, but it's not the wife's dream, only mine. So sadly, that's not going to happen. There we go. Back to you, Dave.
G7
G0OGR.
2E0OGR G7 EPE returning. Yeah, okay, Martin. Well, actually, the hovercraft sounds very attractive. I've just measured the distance. It's about 27 miles by water. I'd have to come out of Christchurch sort of bay, go around, I guess, Hurst Castle, and go through that little narrow strait where Yarmouth is and Hurst Castle, through Southampton water into I guess Portsmouth water, and up through the harbour, past Gosport, and obviously Portsmouth, the Spinnaker Tower into the harbour. So yeah, probably a little bit impractical, but I do like the idea of the hovercraft. That sounds fantastic. So I'm gonna put that one aside if it ever happened. Right, okay, and okay on your younger antics, definitely. Right, let's move on to Bill. How would you get around if you didn't have your car licence for a few months there, Bill? Would you rely on the station manager? Do you need to get around? I'm just trying to think where you are. I'm sure you're pretty well served with public amenities there. KF4 MCG G7 EPE.
G7 EPE KF4 MCG. Well, I haven't had a driver's license since 2018. I can't pass the vision test. So
they won't let me drive. So I do use the station manager, and the local community here has pretty good public transit with the bus. If I need to get to LA, I can always take the Metrolink train in. So there's a way of getting around there. But as far as getting around Corona, I have an e-bike with a little trailer that I pull behind, and that helps me with the shopping, or if I'm running some errands and need to pick up something, bigger than what'll fit in my little box on the back of the bike. So that's how I get around there. And I have a question. I know all of you seniors over there in England, you get a bus pass, which allows you to ride the buses over there. If I came to visit, I'm a senior, I don't have a bus pass. I'd probably have to pay full adult fare, wouldn't I? Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Oh, well. Over here in the States, we don't have a bus pass for seniors, but seniors only pay half rate. So that's a nice little perk over here. Anyway, back over to you, Dave, G7EPE, KF4MCG, and I can't wait to see your butt on a hovercraft going through the Solent.
KF4MCG, G7EPE. It's probably some AI being put together right now, Bill. On a TikTok page near you soon. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad you can get around okay, and I love the idea of the little e-bike with the trailer. So fantastic stuff, and that seems. I think the system of giving seniors bus pass in the UK is pretty cool, but obviously you guys or visitors can't make use of that, and I'm not aware there is a senior citizen rate that you would benefit from. So that's a shame, because I guess as a visitor to your part of the world, if I proved I was a senior, I would still get the senior rate. So yeah, I think it's probably a bit of a fairer system there, but all good stuff. Well, thank you very much. And yeah, as I said, the video of me on a little mini hovercraft probably would have to be slightly bigger than a mini one to take my weight, but that's probably, as I say, being composed on AI as we speak. Right, okay. Well, we know what Graham's done, so let's find out a little bit more about his AMI. And for those who don't know, it's actually an AMI cargo, so it's a little bit rarer than the standard AMI. It's hasn't got a passenger seat because it's designed for carrying cargo. Right, Graham, let us know all about it. Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Delta Yankee, Golf 7, Echo Papa Echo.
Echo Papa Echo, Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Delta Yankee. Before I do, I need to send a message to Roger. I've got a text that came in today from G7LFC, who is now apparently the new RSGB Brickworks champion. And he thought that I was the Brickworks contact for the club, for the society. So he would like an email. Can do one or two things. I could send him your email if you are if your email is on QRZ, or I'm sure I've got your email somewhere. I could send the information to you here. Let me know when we get round to you, and we'll see where we go from there. Yeah, the AMI's. Yeah, I've just tried it. It's okay. I was quite surprised how much space there is available, because essentially it's taken away the whole second seat, and it's set it up nicely. So then you get to it from the passenger side door, which is also where you get to the cable to plug the thing in. I didn't know. The first thing I did when I started looking around, I thought, where do I plug this in? How do I get this door opened? Yeah, I didn't realise the passenger doors, they're pulled, you have a pull strap to pull them shut. And I couldn't figure out how to get it. And in fact, there's another pull release on the dashboard to open the door. Yeah, it took me 10 minutes of staring at it and kicking things and undoing things to see what I could find. But overall, yeah, it works. it's simple, it's straightforward, and as long as I can get to the shops and to the pharmacy and do odd bits and pieces and get to my French lessons, it'll be great. So I'm really happy. But we don't have buses much around here. Taxis are few and far between. And yeah, biking is okay as long as its weather's not too bad. But any sensible distance or get to any large shops, no. But thanks anyway. Well, we'll see what the rest of you got to do with it. So far, so good. G7 EPE F4WDY.
Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Delta Yankee Golf 7 Echo Papa Echo Thursday night net. Yeah, all copied, Graham. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and sounds like it is a bit more spacious than anticipated, being the cargo variant. And I noticed the doors are one of the interesting things about the AMI is the front of the car is the same as the back of the car. You can swap the front panel with the back panel, and also the doors are the same left to right hand. So one's a suicide door with the hinges at the back, and the other's a normal door with hinges at the front. But it is the same door, so you can swap the driver's door for the passenger door. So very cleverly thought out. So I'm glad you're pleased with it, mate, and obviously getting you from A to B. And maybe you could set yourself up if there's that much space. Then F4WDY parcel delivery service. You could sub yourself out to one of the big parcel companies, one of the big online companies that needs parcels delivering. Great stuff, and I'm glad it's working out well for you. Right, okay. Toby's is watching on Facebook Live, so all good stuff, Toby. We'll try and get you the Zoom details as well he's asked for, so stand by, caller. Let's see if we can find an email address for you. We'll ping something over to you. Right, okay. Ian, round to you. Hopefully the Allstar node is still functioning. What would you do if you lost your licence for a few months and had to find some alternative transport? G5 KUE, G7 EPE.
GB3IW.
G7 EPE from G5 KUE. Right, well, I don't work all day, so it's not an issue to have to get up in the morning or travel to work. I used to work around about 90 miles from home, so that would have put the cat amongst the pigeons, wouldn't it, really? I suppose it would have had to be the train up to London. I wouldn't have wanted to do that, really. But in reality terms, if it happened at this sort of time, I'm quite well positioned in Littlehampton, where I can walk literally just round the corner to a supermarket, probably about 10 or 15 minutes into town with all the other shops, and I do have an e-bike, so I do jump on that and get around a little bit and go down and see the beach sometimes and enjoy the better weather, or go out with the good lady, have a little bit of an afternoon out if the weekend weather's good on the bikes. We went out not so long ago and it was a bit muddy underfoot, so when those bikes come back they needed jet washed and cleaned up again. But that would be my reality choice, I think, the e-bike to get around, so I'll hand that back to you, Dave. G7 EPE from G5 KUE.
G5 KUE, G7 EPE returning in the group. Yep, all copied in, and again, the link's working very well for you, the Allstar. Nice audio. That's one thing you do notice about the Allstar connections, is the audio is extremely good, very nice, clean and loud. The Echolink works, but it tends to be a little bit more, I'm going to say muffled generally. But again, obviously there's a varying amount of devices that are being used. So, yeah. And okay on the e-bike. Yeah, again, another popular form of transport these days. You do see a lot of them about. I do have one gripe with an e-bike, is they allow people to travel at 30 miles an hour with very little effort, which means overtaking them in a 30 mile an hour limit becomes extremely difficult as a car user. I think if they were limited to 27, so you had, those in cars could overtake and get past, because There's nothing worse than sticking behind a bike that's doing somewhere between 25 and 30 on occasion. But no, it does give people a lot of mobility, and we do see a lot of them here in the New Forest because obviously people like to get out and about on the various biking trails and stuff, and the e-bikes are great for doing that. Right, okay. Should say a very good evening to Carl, M6JZM. Very good evening, Carl. He's watching on the Facebook Live. Trust you're enjoying the show, Carl. Good to see you out there. And let's go round to Roger. So, Roger, obviously, number one on the list is did you get Bill's menu choice, or is he left it too late? And what would you do to get about if you didn't have a licence to drive a vehicle? G8 NHG G7 EP in the group.
From G8 NHG. Yeah, first things first, to Bill, 2E0WGK, yes, you are on the list. You are number 5 on the list, and I have your choice, and your choice has been conveyed to the Bargeman's Rest, and so when you turn up on Saturday, it will be waiting for you. So you're in, mate. And there was a thing from Graham, I think it was, where he had an inquiry, I guess, from somebody else on the island. Somehow that could have me, then I will really deal with that. Not sure if you got my email. I'm just wondering how I could get that to you. But anyway, I think the best thing is somehow that could reach me. That would be good. Right, back to the question in hand. My immediate reaction to the question was that I would use one of the on-demand car rentals, but I realised that it wasn't the car that was the problem. If I was effectively not licensed or not able to drive a car. And I suppose if it was going to be long term, the short answer is I would have to move. I'd go move somewhere where I didn't need a lot of transport. I really can't be bothered with buses and stuff like that. It just seems an inadequate way of moving around. So I think the answer is move house. Incidentally, the Kite Hill and Eleanor's Grove is going to be closed. That's an island. That's the main road on the island which joins Newport to Ryde, and specifically from Wootton Bridge to Ryde. And that will be closed for 2 months. So the main road across to Ryde will be shut for 2 months. So we wait with anticipation to find out how the traffic is going to be redirected around that. So, to my mind, that is a little bit of, that's what it could be like if you were stuck in the house and couldn't get out. So there we are, that was about it. So, yes, good news, Bill, you're on the list. Graham, if you somehow get that information to me, I'll take that on. And the answer to the big question, I'd have to move G8NHG back to G7 EPE.
G8 NHG G7 EPE returning Thursday night net GB3IW. Yeah, all copied, Roger. Well, that's excellent news that Bill's on the list. Your name is down, and you are coming in there, Bill. So fantastic stuff. What we didn't find out was what your menu choices were, which is always the thing. You always pick those menu choices typically a good few weeks ahead of the meal. And then when it comes to the day, you can never remember it, can you? So, but good stuff. Thank you very much for that, Roger. And, well, let's hope you never have to deal without having a licence, because I'm sure you're very happy where you are. And moving probably isn't really the ideal solution, is it, for you? But I guess, yeah, you're in if you're in that particular sort of position where the amenities are fairly thin on the ground and there aren't any local shopping facilities that you could get to easily, then yeah, that might be the only option. And yeah, the road closing sounds an absolute nightmare. We had one of the major routes, or the major route from where we live into Bournemouth, closed, partially closed actually. It was a dual carriageway. They closed one side for a few weeks to resurface, and then they closed the other side. But the knock-on effect for the whole area was absolutely disastrous. Everybody was bemoaning why they did it the way they did it, and it got to the point where the local councillor actually took to Facebook and did a few broadcasts live from the roadworks explaining how it was going on and why they had to do it this way. And yeah, it was. But we're over it now. It's all back. It's all done. It's all opened up. But yeah, the roadworks seem to conspire at times, don't they? We've had a couple of occasions here where I live where almost every major route has had traffic lights or some roadworks going on, and it's like they're trying to cut the whole town off. But you live through it and you get around it. So yeah, these things are set to try us. So hopefully they'll be. Hopefully it's not going to be too painful for everybody on the island. Speaking of which, let's go round to Terry now. Now, Terry, obviously you're very privileged to have a PPL as well. So you could fly, I guess, if you hadn't lost that license, or we had to give that up for a short period of time. But let's find out. G4 ANW G7 EPE. Round to you, Terry.
G7 EPE and the group G4 ANW. Yeah, okay, there, Dave, and okay from everyone. Yeah, that would be interesting, actually. I'm not sure if my license was delayed for some reason, driving license, that is. Yeah, might pause my PPL at the same time, which wouldn't be too useful. But if, like Graham, it had got delayed due to, I don't know, administrative errors or whatever, then, well, luckily, we're not too far away from the supermarket. It'd be quite a walk. It would be the walk back. So I think probably what we'll do there is just get them to deliver the food. And that would save a problem. And if I was going to the airport to do some work or exams or whatever, then to be honest, that is a walkable distance. Cutting through some of the country paths, that wouldn't be a problem. And I think that's probably what I'll do. The only time it becomes a problem is if I've got to take some test gear. And even getting a bus wouldn't help because we've got to walk a long way for the bus. So, yeah, it would present a few problems. I'd have to rely on friends of ours perhaps to come and pick me up, which actually did happen a little while back, a couple of years ago when the car had a problem and it had to go back to the garage. And but then a friend of mine from the airport very kindly picked me up each time, so that helped. So yeah, I think it would be try and make the best arrangement you could there, Dave, and hopefully get the driving licence sorted out ASAP. But there we are, all very difficult. As far as the road closures are concerned, well, we always reckon that they practice road closures on the island just to see how well it might work on the mainland. And you know, it seems to be all the time, but I'm sure it's exactly the same mainland as well. But I remember one year we were on Guernsey, we were driving in a hire car, and we literally got into the middle of Guernsey, and every time we turned one way or the other, we drove for a bit, and then it said road closed. And it took us ages to work out probably a single route, that's about all there was, to actually get out of the roadworks. Because they literally sort of closed every avenue except for one very small lane, which was the exit. So there we are. Anyway, thanks for running the net tonight, Dave, and certainly been an interesting one. And I wish everyone 73, and back to you there, Dave, for the final bits. G7 EPE, G4NW.
G4 ANW G7 EPE returning probably for the last time, actually, looking at the clocks. We've only got 4 minutes to go, so rather than we haven't really got time to go around again and say 7-3. So but thanks very much, Terry. Yeah, well, I had a similar thing on I'm trying to think, it was Monday. Was it Monday or Tuesday? I had to go to work like you do. Got in the car, drove out towards the A35, which is the main road that runs towards Lyndhurst, and then I head off to the motorway, only to be greeted when I got to the junction with the A35 with a road closed sign. They closed the A35. I think it was from planned roadworks, but obviously I'd missed the notifications and ended up having to take a detour, which took another 5 or 10 minutes actually. so I ended up not getting to work. I was in plenty of time because I always try and get to work an hour earlier than I'm required. I like to start early and leave a bit earlier, but I missed my normal start time by a few minutes, which did annoy me immensely. But there you go. But yeah, I sympathise. I say we've had a couple of occasions here where I live where it's been very similar. There has literally been one road out of town that's been available because everything else has had roadworks. But well, at least you can walk to work if you had to, as long as you haven't got to take any heavy duty bits of kit. So that's all good stuff. It is interesting to see how reliant we all are on having a driving licence, and yeah, so through no fault of his own, Graham's just got to wait for the French bureaucracy to work its magic and get his main licence back. And of course, he's got a car that he's paying for that's sat there that he can't actually use. But I guess it's really lucky that in France you've got the ability to drive one of these quadricycles without a licence, because of course we haven't got that facility here in the UK. Right, okay, and before I disappear, I'd like to say hi to Dave, who's up there in Sheffield, M7GAU. Put a shout out on the Facebook Live. Very good evening to you, Dave. Trust you well. Good to see you again, mate. And right, so I've just looked at the clock. I've got 8:58, so I think we'll wrap it up for tonight, gentlemen. Thank you very much. A little bit of an unusual subject, but oh, hang on. I think Graham wants to say something very quickly. Let me just pass it over to Graham. Fox 4 Whiskey Delta Yankee Golf 7 Echo Papa Echo.
G7EPF4WD1. Roger, if you're still there, can you confirm if you still have your AOL email address? Because I've got one for you. Back to you, Dave.
Fox 4 Whiskey Delta Yankee Golf 7 Echo Papa Echo. Roger, do you just want to give that a yay or nay? GANHG?
Yes, GNHG, yes, and I've just sent you an email to confirm my email, but it is the AOL one. So please, chaps.
G8NHG G7EPA. Yeah, thanks, Roger. All good. Gosh, AOL still going. That brings back memories. Right, guys, so without further ado, we're going to I wish everybody 7-3s, firstly. All our lurkers and listeners, everybody that's joined us on Facebook Live. Bit of an unusual topic, but I thought it might make for some interesting comments, which it has. So hopefully everybody's enjoyed themselves. We'll wish all our fellows over there in North America. I know Bill's going to stay around on the Zoom call, hopefully, but a very happy Thanksgiving. If anybody out there listening to us on in North America, enjoy your day, guys. And with that, we're going to put the old girl back to bed, put her back to normal operation, let her cool down and rest her batteries. And we're going to QSY to the Zooms. This is G7EP wishing everybody a very good evening and saying bye-bye.